Okay, we'll just give everyone a couple more minutes to join because we're still expecting a couple of students, and then we will get started. If you can't see all of the PowerPoint because you've got our faces down the side of the screen, if you go for the sort of icon that is the furthest to the left at the top, you should be able to minimize everybody's faces so you can't see them anymore.
Hello.
Hello. We did say it was going to be kind of like a radio show, didn't we? So.
Hi, Lisa.
Hello.
You okay?
Yeah, technology. Oh yeah, that's all I can say.
Well, to be honest, Lisa, I was expecting Chris's voice. But
Chris is en route as well.
Also, always.
Oh, wow, okay.
Our little saviour.
He is.
Yeah, I'm here.
Here he is.
There he is.
Just see, we're not used to this. We use Teams, so
Yeah,
this is all new for us.
Yeah.
it was. We were just on a Teams call when it kept going. Are you in this meeting? I can't get in it, and then we both connected at the same time. We're like, oh, then I couldn't turn the Teams off.
Leon, hello.
Hello. Sorry, who's speaking to me? Sorry.
It's Paula.
Oh, hey, Paula. Sorry. Thanks, Paula.
Am I supposed to be here?
Yes, you are. Yeah. Basically, yeah. This is as I say, we're just letting in the students, and today this is just a pilot opportunity for the next hour to talk through allied health professions, and I invited a number of fantastic allied health professionals, both from who helped out Greater Manchester, but also obviously across the Northwest and the Liverpool City region and Chester and Warrington in terms of, and Lancashire, South Cumbria, in terms of AHP professionals that can help out today over this hour. So yes, we're looking to your input, Paula, to answer the question.
Okay, no pressure. All right.
How are we getting on, Sarah? You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Not like you.
An entire year of this and I still do that. Like,
Okay,
we've got about half our students here, so if we want to get cracking, I'm sure the others will join us pretty soon.
yeah, brilliant. Great stuff. Okay, so welcome everybody and thank you very much for our first pilot AHP recap webinar today. And this just builds on from the fantastic AHP day that we had the other week in relation to a full day of AHP professions and career routes and talking through our values, behaviours and attitudes. And over this hour, we're going to revisit that and have an opportunity to talk to some of the fantastic professionals that were on the Liverpool event, but also some of the amazing AHP professionals across the Northwest doing doing similar roles, but just in different areas. Thanks, Sarah. If you can move on the slide.
So just a little bit of housekeeping from us. If students could keep their cameras and their microphones off just to help with the broadband on the call, because there's a few of us. There is the chat box, ask as many questions as you would like, and please do take advantage of having access to all these guys to ask everything. That's everything from me on housekeeping.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Sarah. So yeah, we've got an action-packed hour. Obviously, we've just done introductions, and as and when speakers feel that they're in a position to speak up and add value, by all means, please just announce your name and unmute yourselves, and then talk through whatever subject area we're talking through over the next hour. So obviously, I covered the values, behaviours and attitude session on the AHP Tasted Day. And we'll just be recapping that and building in some key answers and questions to what you asked following the day. And then we have a number of allied health professionals dropping in throughout this hour. So within that time, we will have that core aspect in terms of where we will ask the likes of Lisa, Chris, Paula and the other individuals as they come on in the next hour. And then we will have an opportunity just to build on that again in terms of having that confidence and having that superpower to ask those core questions and key questions that you may be a little bit unsure about, or may just need a little bit more clarity and understanding about a particular area, whether it be work experience, pathways, particular profession, whatever it may be. And that's the idea of this hour. And then to finish off, we'll be talking about the support package and how you are now part of our health and social care family, and how each and every one of us want to support you on your professional journey, through your educational journeys, into health and social care careers in the near future.
Okay.
So just building on from the AHP day and why we're doing a lot of this work. So obviously the key aspect for us is we need more and more people to work in the NHS and health and social care sector in order for us to give the best possible patient care. And whilst we have a number of courses and opportunities and variety of support mechanisms in terms of how we attract, recruit and retain our workforce, we are and will have people leaving the workforce on an annual basis, whether that be through retirement or change of roles and numerous other reasons. So what we are looking to do is to create that support mechanism from here on now, as you move through your educational journeys, to demonstrate to you that the support package starts from a lot younger age in terms of how we can support you through your educational journey and into your training placements and then into your workplace, and how that all interlinked as you go forward. So you have a clear understanding of the role, the job, the career, and how the ethos of health and social care can be taken in within yourself and how you develop going forward. Again, we've got a number of growth sectors taking place, and AHPs are at the moment the third biggest workforce in the NHS, but if we continue the way we're doing, we will definitely push on with the other numbers, and we are looking at a variety of all 16 different individual AHP professions. And whilst we may not have all 16 on today, we will have an opportunity over time, and you will, to explore those roles as we move into 2021, 2022, and so forth. Again, in terms of the growth path sectors, each of the trusts are looking at their AHP workforce and how that looks going forward. So let's be mindful of all these roles and how they fit in the complete health and social care sector and all the different roles an AHP can play. Thank you. Next slide. Yeah, so key routes, and Sharon, please help me out here.
Yeah.
In terms of the AHP day, Sharon took this part for the Liverpool City region. So Sharon.
Yeah, I'm happy to go through this if that's okay with you. Yeah, there's various routes into the NHS, and the traineeship route. They're an education and a training program with work experience to help you to get work ready, and it's for 16 to 24-year-olds. Okay, usually they average anything between 6 weeks and 6 months on average, and it's a flexible way of learning to suit the needs of your development and the business that you're going into. Okay, and usually they're then the next stage is an apprenticeship. Okay, the apprenticeships are open. They're work-based training programs designed around the needs of the employers and the trusts and the healthcare employers using this route. They usually, they're for 16 plus again, but some areas you need to be 18, dependent on the environment that you're working in. Okay. It's a practical way of training and study whilst you're in your job. So you're basically earning while you're learning. So you're actually in a job, you're working along experienced staff, and you'll gain specific skills for that role. You'll earn a wage, you'll get holiday pay, which is always good, and you'll be paid the national minimum wage relevant to your age group. You're given time for study as well. And the next thing that we're looking at is T-levels. These are new and they're coming in September this year. And it's an option for individuals who want a mix of classroom learning and on-the-job experience. They're 2-year courses, and you get usually 45 days minimum in a placement, and when you complete them, they're actually equivalent to 3 A levels, but they follow on from your GCSEs. Further education, okay, so obviously the sixth form and FE colleges, and they offer a wide range of health related courses, BTECs, NVQs and foundation degrees, and they're specific to the needs of the area you want to go into. And then we have the higher education route as well, and this is mainly for doctors, healthcare sciences, nurses and allied health professionals looking at a degree level. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. So there's various AHP routes that we mentioned in the taste today, and you'll recognise some of the roles there. I won't go through them all, but there are 16. So there's lots of areas that you can actually look at in relation to the AHP roles there, and you'll be seeing these slides, so you can actually have a look at each one to see which one you're interested in. Thank you. Next slide, thanks. Over to you, Leon.
Yeah, thanks, Sharon. Brilliant. And obviously we'll come back to you shortly about the other aspects in terms of recruitment that ties into what you've just been talking about. So yeah, in relation to the session for the Taste Today, we spoke about our values, behaviours and attitudes. And a key aspect for all health and social care jobs is that we recruit for values and we train for skills. And with that in mind, it's looking at the whole individual and understanding that your values, your beliefs, your understanding of how you will work within health and social care is very, very important. And as outlined on the Taste Today, that's quite difficult to look at in terms of yourself at whatever age. And one of the key factors here is how do you translate those different words in terms of values, behaviours and attitudes into your personal statements, or additional information or support information for application forms as you move forward for jobs, and making it and putting it into plain English so you demonstrate to the recruiter how you meet that particular need within that job spec or application form, or on that personal statement that's asked you how and why you want to attend that particular course. And it's going that step further of demonstrating that whilst you know that keywords, caring, everyone counts, and the constitution that we spoke about, and I'm sure there's another slide shortly, but it's about how you achieve that. And we had a number of questions through Sarah in terms of asking us, how do young people achieve that over COVID and so forth? And within this hour, we've got a number of links and number of discussions that hopefully will help you. And if you need to know more, by all means, put it in the chat and we'll speak more about that. Next slide, please. Yeah, so just building on that and just recapping, obviously these are the key values, behaviours that we live to on a day-by-day basis, 24/7, 365 days a year. And everything that we do, whether from my position, I'm not patient facing, where there are a number of individuals and professionals on the call today that are, in terms of working together for patients, respect and dignity to all, and everyone counts. And that's looking at that in terms of you as a young person, in terms of whether it be in college, whether it be in school, looking at how you treat your teachers, your tutors, your friends, the community around you. How do you treat your family? And how do you add value each and every day within your community? And it may well be, you know, in terms of opening that door for somebody, looking after a pet, And we'll talk about these different aspects that all bring in all these key values for you. A commitment to quality of care. So everything absolutely we do is to provide quality for our patients and our patient care, to ensure they have the best experience and that their family and everybody around them feels confident and comfortable in the care that we provide. And that comes through compassion and improving lives and developing each and every one of us every day as we move through our careers and helping each other to be better and develop a better service on a day-by-day basis. Thank you. Next slide. Yeah, so just in terms of going through, we gave you a number of different ways that you can build up your personal statements or your application forms. And one of the key factors that was mentioned was really to outline volunteering as one of the key factors. And what a lot of people within COVID, obviously we're not able to do physical volunteering necessarily within our health and social care establishments at this point in time. But as the next couple of months unfold, and there are a number of organisations and the trusts and health and social care organisations looking at how they can provide virtual volunteering opportunities. And there's a variety of aspects, and we'll put these links in the chat so that you can explore what the local offer is, and when these different factors or opportunities are available and you have put your name to them, then hopefully we'll be able to build that up as we go in the next 12 months. Next slide, please. Just conscious of time. Obviously, one of the key factors today, and Sarah will talk about this, but the fantastic relationship in relation to this webinar and the taste today that we did was key in the partnerships that we create and the collaboration to ensure that you as young people, parents, carers and guardians have the information at hand so you can make informed choices about your career, and that we help you to put that in as plain English as possible, which isn't easy in health and social care. And through Shaping Futures, they do amazing work, and Sarah will talk about the more one-to-one offer and the opportunities that will come from you being part of this network. And we hope that whether you're just interested in an AHP role, the future webinars that we are rolling out as well on a monthly basis, that you touch base and you drop in and you say hello, because that's the aspect, and that's what we enjoyed, is to hear you about your journeys at every opportunity. And that you're taking an interest in nursing, you're taking an interest in social care, and you're taking an interest in health and social care as a whole. All About STEM, there's a number of opportunities with All About STEM, and we'll put the links in for that. In terms of any of you that are wanting virtual work experience, and as I stress at this current time, you don't need physical work experience. There are a number of opportunities for you to build up your personal statements and build up your work experience virtually. And these are just a sample in terms of recognised virtual work experience or virtual work-related opportunities that provide you with a certificate and demonstrate to the recruiter or the UCAS assessor and so forth that you have actually undertaken continued professional development and you're really interested in the subject that you're striving to move towards. Youth Employment UK, they are doing a variety of professional virtual work experience opportunities for young people across the UK. It's a fantastic organisation that you can sign up and register for free. Pathway CTM is also a free offer in terms of support, and there are numerous national opportunities and regional opportunities for you to sign up to develop yourselves. Speakers to Schools, ask your school or college if they are signed up to Speakers to Schools. They have a comprehensive board of opportunities for you, and Medic Mentors, and then also moving into some different fields around AHP VR 360 videos that you can capture and you can put in your personal statement that you've carried out and had a go at those. And you don't necessarily need to have a VR headset, because some of them allow you just to do that sort of travel through the journey of that particular role. National Citizenship Service, is coming up, and whilst a number of the programs are going virtual, that all looks very, very good on your application forms or anything similar to those type of youth organisation opportunities. I will put a link to the AHP Padlet that we've put together that has hundreds and hundreds of different work experience, virtual taster days and so forth, that you can have a little look at that may appeal to you and you want to have a little look at and sign up for, so that you can develop your personal statement. And then one of the other aspects in terms of allied health professions is I See the Difference website, which has loads and loads of videos, resources, and in terms of routeways and journey and educational requirements, and videos around AHPs, which is an absolutely fantastic resource. Thank you. Next slide, please. Okay, Sharon, I'll bring you in here and we'll talk through this, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Great stuff.
Okay. So this is an opportunity to look at how you basically start your journey, how you can start looking at opportunities within the NHS, and it's just, you know, it's a really good visual, and the links here are live, so you can link into them. So the first one is, you know, basically going into the website and looking at the jobs, okay? And then there's tips here along the way. I don't need to go through them individually, but there are tips along the way. But as Leon mentioned, what is really, really key is during this process that when you're completing your application, that your personal statement is really reflective of the experiences you've had, like the work experience or personal experience. And what it does, you don't just say you can do it, you demonstrate how you've done it. So, you know, it's using that STAR method: the situation, the task, the action, and the result. And we can go through that with you if you've not heard of that, but it really does help to keep you focused when you're going through, you know, the application process. There are a lot of opportunities coming up within the NHS in relation to apprenticeships. And, you know, obviously we'll be talking about traineeships and T-levels as they come out. So it's really being aware, get yourself really friendly with the website and orientated around it so you can understand how it works and how it can benefit you. There's the next slide, please. Okay, there's some great tips here. Not easy to see there.
One more click and it should go larger, Sarah.
Yeah.
Okay. Takes a little bit.
Thanks. Yeah, so there's certain things you need to take into consideration, and the handy hints and tips are there, you know, where are you prepared to travel to, salary, sort of roles you're looking for, pay band, and what type of job you're looking for. You're looking for a permanent job, you know, just going through those bits of information there and just honing in specifically what you want and then relating that to the opportunities that are available. And again, on the bottom there's some jargon busters. There's a link to Health Education England there to help you with that. So all the support's there that we can give you. It's just a case of, you know, getting yourself familiar with the website and asking the questions of your teachers, of ourselves. Just use the network of support, and, you know, it can really make a difference to your application and to the rest of your life, really. You can start a career, can't you? Hints and tips are there. You know, you've got the website link there as well. How saving the jobs that you've looked at as your favourites. Yeah, job alerts. They will let you know about job alerts when things come up. So, you know, register for those. Keep an eye on the closing date. I know there's some people who said to me, "Oh, I missed the deadline." Well, that's not really what we're looking for. In these sort of roles, you need to be managing your time and be conscious of deadlines. So, you know, be aware of those as well. Make sure you read the job description and make sure the application that you're applying with is relevant to the information that they're asking and the person specification as well. The process is quite detailed, but you know what? Once you've done it once, you got used to it, you've done it a few times, you know, it is a great opportunity to take yourself forward and start a career. Okay, so thank you for that. Okay, various professional allied professions that we can look at there. And we did have a lot of these speakers on our AHP Taste today who were just fantastic and shared their experiences, how they entered into their roles, how they've developed, how they changed. You know, there was opportunity for progression, for development. So, you know, it's just a case of getting in at a starting point and then deciding, you know, which route you want to take, or look at the route ways in that I talked about earlier. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Brilliant. So that brings us nicely into Paula's opening question in terms of should I be here? And one of the key aspects of the Taste Today was that whilst Paula was fantastic and did the Greater Manchester, because she'll tell you who she is shortly, her equivalent in Cheshire and Mersey opened the day for us in terms of Nisha, who's a very similar role to Paula in Cheshire and Mersey. But Paula is amazing, and I will let Paula introduce herself. And then we're just going to then, Paula, ask questions around yourself, ask questions to Lisa, ask questions to Chris. And I can't see the list, but if there are any other professionals on, by all means, unmute and jump in.
Hey, hi everybody. My name's Paula, and thank you, Leon, for saying amazing. That's flattery will get you everywhere. So I'm an occupational therapist, and I qualified a million years ago, back in 1999, would you believe? And I've had an amazing career. I have done all sorts of weird and wonderful jobs, including working in a forensic service with people who offended. I've worked in hospitals, I've worked with children, I've worked in the fire and rescue service. There really is no limit to where you can work as an allied health professional, and an occupational therapist in particular is a really diverse profession. And I'm now working as the Allied Health Professions Workforce Programme Lead for Greater Manchester. So it sounds very grand, but it's basically, I do a lot of bossing around and shuffling papers around and making sure people are in the right place at the right time. But it's a leadership role. And I suppose the point I'm making is that as an allied health professional, you have a lot of opportunity to develop your career, and to earn a decent wage as well. I think it's worth saying. So you can work clinically, you can work with patients and people, or you can go into management roles or research roles or education roles. There's a vast amount of opportunity for all of our 16 professions.
One of the core questions that's asked across the Greater Manchester and being asked across the whole of the Northwest in terms of these events is about the support and emotional well-being and mental health aspects in relation to any one of these professions, and how you as a professional dealt with it and worked through it and worked with it, and what support you had and are having as an AHP professional.
Right, okay, I wasn't expecting that question, so
I mean that's thrown out to everybody. It's same as Chris and everybody. Yeah. Sorry, but it's
really important. It's a really important it's a really important subject, and I think it's important to be self-aware and to understand yourself, because you're in an allied health professional role where you're there to help other people and to help them to be as well and independent as possible. But you've got to first of all look at yourself, haven't you? And many of us will suffer with mental health problems and physical health problems at times. So you need to, I suppose, have a certain amount of self-awareness, know when you are struggling, and know that it's okay to struggle, and know what your support is around you. So most of the time that will be your manager, I suppose. But there's a whole range of people when you're in the health and care service. You have access to counselling and to occupational health services. So I know in my experience over the years, when I've had periods where I've wobbled a bit and I've maybe had too much going on in my life, I have accessed counselling services through work. And I think it's a lot quicker and a lot more efficient. So I think that's one of the main advantages. Well, not the main advantage. One of the advantages of working as an allied health professional is you have good support around you from colleagues and from occupational health. I'll let someone else jump in now if they want to share.
Brilliant, thanks Paula. Chris, do you want to bring Chris in? Hi, Chris.
I don't know if it's my connection that's a bit wobbly or not, but breaking up a little bit.
Clearly.
Can you hear me all right? You are breaking up a little bit. Just repeat the question to me a bit again.
No, it's only from our perspective, it's just reinforce really the idea of why we're doing these webinars is to create that support mechanism. And one of the key asks of the young people is what is support is available whilst they're on their educational journey, and when obviously they enter the workforce, what support do they receive from the employer, basically? Did you hear me, Chris? No, he's not looking like he's heard me. Oh, no. Gone.
No,
Okay.
you're freezing again. It's at that time of day, Leon, you see. This time of day always goes wobbly.
No worries. Okay. So can you tell us who you are?
So I'm Chris Lawrence. I'm a paramedic North West Ambulance Service. So I've done a few of these events now, haven't I, Leon? And it's with the aim to just make youngsters aware of what opportunities are there within the ambulance service, and also what routes into the ambulance service we have, because there are a few different routes in there. And also what to expect when they are working for the ambulance service, because there's a lot of misconceptions that this is like an episode of Casualty or one of our 999 Watch for Emergency programs, and it couldn't necessarily be further from the truth. It can be like that, but it's not always like that. But what I have found during some of these sessions is the questions that we get back from some of these students are fantastic. They are asking very relevant questions with regards to shift patterns, the qualifications they need before applying for the course, kind of jobs we're being seen, what support mechanisms are in place. So we're being asked a lot of relevant questions by youngsters who are really thinking outside of the box as well. So it's not just questions like what's the worst thing you've seen, which is something we get asked quite a lot. Is there anything else you want me to touch on in particular?
I'm not sure whether you can hear me or not. Just, did you start your life with the ambulance service?
No, see, I started off with in podiatry. So, I mean, I left school with not the best GCSE results, and then went on to college and redid some of my GCSEs at college. And then from then, I actually went and got a degree in a completely different subject, which is podiatry, which is very similar to chiropody. And I worked in podiatry for a good 8-10 years, and then moved over to governance. And worked in governance within the police and within the NHS before I decided to come back to a patient-facing role. And I think the thing there is to look at, it doesn't matter what roles you've been in previously, you're going to take things from every single role that you've been in. So it doesn't matter if you're working in a supermarket, and we've been asked this quite a lot. If you're working in a supermarket, for example, are there interchangeable skills there to working as a paramedic? And absolutely there is, because the main thing for working as a paramedic that you need is communication skills. You need really good communication skills. You'll find that any job that you're doing, there are interchangeable skills, and that with me in the past. So I did have some medical knowledge from my first job. We were working in podiatry, but also working in governance. There's a lot of legalities surrounding confidentiality and patient confidentiality within the medical profession. So that was something that I brought into this role, was a good understanding of a good foundation of confidentiality. But mainly, it's the people skills that you need to acquire, and you will acquire while you're training anyway as a paramedic. But the main thing I think to touch on as well with people who are here today is the different routes in to the ambulance service. So there's you can go a direct route into the ambulance service, which is via the university. So you will, now it's a BSc, so you'll start on a 3-year BSc to gain a degree in paramedic science. But there is another way in, so you can become an apprentice. You can become an apprentice technician, and you can work as an apprentice technician for approximately 18 months, possibly a little bit longer. And then you can consolidate all that knowledge that you've got in practice for another couple of years. And then you can apply to become an apprentice paramedic, which we've just started to run in the North West Ambulance Service. So all in all, it'll take about 6-7 years, but you are being paid throughout that time while you're training as well. And you're getting a lot of support throughout that from the service itself. So there are a couple of ways, a couple of things to think about depending on what route you want to take into the ambulance service. We also run a cadetship as well. So we do have paramedic cadets, students from colleges. A few of you may well have already know about this. Obviously, it's been on hold a little bit over the last 12 months with what's been going on. But we do have a number of students that do come out with us for some work experience as well. And that's very popular with us. And also that's another route into the ambulance service as well.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, Chris. Thank you. Lisa, do you have anything to add, or are you okay as you are?
I actually think Chris did a marvellous job there. Thank you. You did my job for me, dear. So, yeah, just reiterating it. What I'm trying to do is inbox Chris at the same time on Teams to try and sway him into the way, because obviously the question was about well-being and mental health. I'll just pick up on that a little bit. You know, historically, the NHS, we've not been great at it, but things have really turned around, you know, and I'm going to echo what Paula said. It's okay to not be okay in the healthcare service. That's what's vital. We're one family. We look after each other. The support is there, the mechanisms are there, you know, specifically in the ambulance service. Some of the things that you could actually attend can be quite traumatic, and it's not necessarily the gory stuff. It's things like seeing depravity, seeing poverty, that people really react quite badly to. We have trim assessments in the ambulance service, which, you know, try and highlight that people are struggling. We have a lot, again, your peers are your big support out there. And I just want to reiterate, it's okay to not be okay. And that's the big thing, not thinking that, you know, we've got to get rid of the stiff upper lip that we have in Britain. You know, we're human beings, just the same as the patients we're treating, and we need to make sure we're just as well as they are. But I'll come off my pulpit now.
No, fantastic. Thank you. And I do believe we've got Carly as well. Carly's jumped on as well. Carly, are you there? Oh, she is, or she isn't. I don't know. Maybe listening in.
We do also have a student called Carly who signed up to it today. So,
okay. Thanks, Sarah. Sorry, Carly. Should have given you all special code names, shouldn't I? Brilliant. I know it's one of those aspects, and in terms of through the day, I've had, unfortunately, a number of the AHPs, due to one emergency to another, not being able to attend today. But what they have said, and especially I know there's been some comments in relation to the speech and language therapy. If there's particular questions, and if Paula, myself, or anybody else on the line can't answer them, the professionals have said we can put an email to them and they'll come back with the answers for us. So if there is any particular questions, please start filling that chat box. I watched a TV program yesterday where they referred to people that ask questions and really push those boundaries and really get that confidence just to ask that question that they weren't sure about, should be called superheroes. And I love that program, and really reiterate the aspect in terms of these 1 hour sessions, because it is just a pilot opportunity, and it's something that we wanted to trial to help students, parents, carers and guardians, just to give you that little bit more support through COVID and through a difficult time, both for all of us, really. I can't see the chat, Sarah. Is there anything else?
So we did actually have one from the pre-event survey.
Okay.
Was asking about examples of clinical placements that students might take part in and how they sort of work generally. Are you on clinical placements all the time, back and forth? I know it's a big question, but if some of our AHPs could maybe give their experiences, that'd be great.
I'm happy to take, I'll start with this one if you like, because I'm currently working on trying to make sure we've got more placements for our students at the moment, because we've got a shortage. You're not on placement all the time. You have, in some of the professions, I think over the course of your degree, you have to do about 1,000 hours, give or take. That's more for some professions and less for others, but it's roughly about 1,000 hours. And I think that equates to around, I'm trying to think back to now when I qualified, around about 5 placements of a few weeks each. So you spend most of your time, I suppose, in university studying, but then you go out for these week-long, well, 5 or 6 weeks, or maybe up to 8 weeks placements. And the way we're delivered, they used to be quite traditional in that you would be allocated to, so say for example, as an occupational therapist, you would have an occupational therapy supervisor who was working in practice, and you would sort of stick with them for the 5 weeks, and you would learn skills, and you would be assessed, etc., in that sort of say a hospital environment or a community environment. But now there's absolutely loads of different opportunities for placements. So we're doing quite a lot of testing out of technology placements. So during COVID, because it's been difficult for students to physically go and spend time with some of our allied health professions, we've been doing a lot more online like this. So you might be a student who is with your supervisor in a clinic with a patient, but you're doing it all virtually. So that's a challenge, but it also means that you learn some really important skills. We're doing leadership placements. So we've got some physiotherapy students at the moment who are with people who are in management type roles like mine. So you would learn all about the bigger picture and all the different types of jobs you could end up in that you might not have thought about. You can do non-traditional placements. So I did a placement in the fire service, I arranged the placements in the fire service. So you could go and work with firefighters, or you can go and work with the police. So there's a whole range of opportunities. As I said, the world's your oyster, and the opportunities are growing. Does anybody else want to come in and talk about placements?
Chris, Lisa, do you want to add to anything?
Sorry, I can't multitask me. I was replying to Hannah in the chat.
Oh, me too, sorry.
I'm too old for this. You youngsters are very good at this. I'm not. So what do you want me to add to? Sorry, Leon.
Just building on, it was about placements within in NWAS really, and how that works in terms of.
I've just put something in the chat because Hannah asked a very good question in the chat regarding paramedic. How many paramedic, is there a national shortage in a nutshell? And yes, there is in most professions, and it goes back to what Paula was saying before. Paula's doing and her team are doing a significant piece of work to try and increase placement capacity. That is the stumbling block for most allied health professions, because universities take small numbers because there isn't the placement provision there to increase the numbers. We're a little bit more complex in the ambulance service because our placements take part on the back of ambulances. So we don't have hospital wards, so we are limited to capacity because our patients will always come first. It's a bum on a seat in the back of an ambulance. That's your placement environment. And there is a national shortage. We do need to increase, and we need to think differently about our placement environments and how we can do that. And that's the work that Paula and her team are drilling into, is how we can do things better to make it, the national shortages are there. We've got an aging population, we've got an aging workforce. We need you young people, you are future talent pipeline, to come into our profession. So that's where we're up to. Paula's sorting us out.
I'm going to take students myself. I'm under pressure. I keep going on about, you need to take more students, and I need to have a couple of students to be honest, because it's such a, I suppose when you're learning about becoming one of the allied health professions, you're very focused on patients that you will see and what you will do physically and around their physical and mental well-being. but as you progress in your career, there's so many other options that you don't necessarily know about till you're quite a bit older. Whereas now we're giving students that taste early on to say, oh, maybe I could go and work in a university and do lecturing, or maybe I could be a researcher, or I could have a really quite senior leadership job. And the students are now seeing that at an early stage instead of waiting until the mid-career and a bit older. So I think it's a positive move if people can get their heads around the fact that they don't have to necessarily have this face-to-face patient contact all the time. It's trying to blend the learning environment, so you've got a bit of face-to-face contact with patients, but you might also spend time with another professional. Why would you not have an occupational therapy student spending time with Lisa in the ambulance to really, there's all sorts of fabulous jobs out there. And I know that the ambulance and occupational therapists do work together, don't they, to try and prevent people going to hospital. So, for example, if somebody's fallen at home, Lisa might go out and check that they're okay and do all the medical assessment and all of, so I can't speak on your behalf, Lisa, about all the fabulous things that you do. But then I might come in and say, right, well, in order to stop you from going to hospital, we can give you a walking aid. We can take that rug up, we can put some social care in place. And Lisa would be looking at the cause of the fall. And it's a good partnership, isn't it? You don't have to just work in isolation in your own profession.
Yeah, and I think Chris can obviously talk about some more of the different, all the NHS were all interlinked at some point throughout all of our service delivery, and I'm a nurse in the ambulance service, Chris is the paramedic. I was getting a bit panicked then, going, oh, I'm a nurse.
Sorry, Lisa. Sorry.
No, it's all right. I'm glad Chris is here. But yeah, I do have, they do have them referral systems. We have falls teams. We work with occupational therapists, GP surgeries. Chris should be proud of me with this one. GP surgeries. And again, it's about the patient. We call it the right care, the right time, right place, right time at the end of the day. Is it right for a person that is called an ambulance to go into hospital? Not always. Sometimes it is something that you can put in the social care element, whether it's OT referrals, district nurses, GPs, that actually puts them at the right point of care instead of into an accident and emergency department where they're not going to receive the right point of care, and to avoid these problems reoccurring, people that frequently fall. It's about that multi-agency working. We all interlink at some point.
Yeah, I mean, we've started now. We do have multi-professional cars, so the response vehicles now in certain areas. We do have physios, we do have OTs, we have mental health professionals working there. We now have just appointed a consultant midwife in the service as well. So there's a real diverse group of staff that work in North West Ambulance Service. And don't get us wrong, there was a time when it was paramedics, and if you weren't a paramedic, you weren't really going anywhere fast in the service, but that's not the case in these days. So we are now looking at placements for other allied health professionals now within NWAS, with a view to them actually coming to work for us on completion of their qualification. So not going working out in the communities and then coming to us, but coming straight to us. So the future is looking really good within the North West Ambulance Service. I mean, they are a very good employer anyway, genuinely are a good employer. So it's one of those, if anybody needs any experience out in the communities, or they feel like they need experience in the communities, it's a great thing to do, especially for paramedics as well. What we like to do is to try, and we have a lot of our frontline paramedics who actually want to go out in the communities and spend time with occupational therapists, mental health professionals, physios, just to see what actually goes on after our care ends, or on when a patient comes out of hospital. Obviously there's a lot of assessments that go on that we're not even aware of, and it would be really good, it'd be fantastic for our staff to be part of that, even if we just had regular sort of like CPD days from people like yourself, Paula. It'd be really interesting for us that, so we can try and sort of mold the way that we do things to try and help you guys as well. So, but yeah, it's a very diverse, it's a very diverse employer, North East Ambulance Service. I think I would go as far as to say, Lisa, that we're probably one of the leading, we are the leading ambulance service in the UK, I think.
I'm going to say that, yeah.
I'm going to put that out there.
North West Ambulance Service. I concur.
I'll put that out there, yeah.
We're the best.
For me, if we had any more AHPs, we wouldn't get a word in between Paula, Chris and Lisa. So absolutely fantastic there.
We're very passionate, aren't we? Very vocal.
Vocal and proud.
This is exactly what we wanted for this hour and every time. And each and every AHP ambassador I've met mirrors that and reflects that, Paula. So it's been amazing. And that's been one of the core comments across all these events in terms of the passion, the values and the behaviours in terms of how we demonstrate the passion for these roles and how we work within health and social care and carry those messages forward. So it's fantastic. I'm going to move us forward now so the three of you can take a breath. And we're going to move through to Sarah now.
Yeah.
On to the next slide, please. Thank you. Because I'm conscious of time, Sarah.
So we did have one question in the chat.
Oh, brilliant.
A little bit about why the university sees in virtual reality, simulations and things like that. We did also have a question in the pre-event survey about open days. So open days aren't allowed to happen at the moment. Universities are offering them virtually. So we would really encourage you, no matter what year group you're in, sign up to them, go and have a look. It'll just be on Zoom or a similar platform, and you'll be able to have a look at all the different types of teaching that they do. We're all really hopeful in higher education that will start physical open days in autumn, and you'll be able to go and have a look at those facilities as they're offered then as well. Bill, Leon, did you want to add anything to this slide?
It's just one of my main aspects is about creating that support network, and the whole point of these hours and the taster days and all these different opportunities, blended learning, and when we do hopefully move back to face-to-face delivery and have that combined aspect, it's just to reiterate that, you know, we're here for you, we want to hear from you, and we want to support you. So please just keep in touch, keep letting us know about your journey, and through fantastic organisations like Shaping Futures, the Careers Hub, and everybody else that's been involved in the Taster Day and these days going forward, really want to support you and that's the key message for me, really, Sarah, to be honest.
Brill.
And linking with that again, obviously there's a number of links, so we will put this into a pack as Sarah's done before, and we will email them out because there are multiple thousands of links, but what we're trying to do is shorten that opportunity for you having to go through thousands and thousands of websites, but to actually go to the specific links or 1 to 2 clicks so that you can reach the information a lot closer. And we're getting there, but we've still got a long way to go because, as I say, 16 professions creates 16,000 links. So we need to bring that down and give you that clearer picture as we move forward. And hopefully hours like this will do that.
Great. So as I've mentioned, you guys did pop some questions in when you signed up. So we're just going to rattle through them really quickly. A couple of them I think we just covered, and so I'll just skip past those if we need to. So we got 3 times how we found out the salary for NHS careers, and one of those links Leon's provided is the Health Careers website. You can go on this, there's loads of information, it's really helpful, but you can also get a paying conditions tab in each one. Most of them link you out to the agenda for change, so you can see what that actually looks like in terms of numbers. Yeah, is that everything on the salary stuff, Leon?
I think so, yes. Yeah, it's just to reiterate, Paula, Chris and Lisa, you know, in terms of salary bands and so forth, AHPs feature in every band and have opportunities to progress. So in terms of salaries wise, you know, there is an increase year on year and development opportunities. So that all interlinks really, and what we're all striving for is that better way of life, isn't it? So
do just use this website. My team uses it all the time. It is really, really helpful, as well as all the ones that have come earlier in the presentation. Work experience, I think we've covered a little bit, but is there maybe anything else anyone wanted to add? Nope. Okay. If anyone does have specific questions about their work experience or something their schools asked them to do, and please do get in touch with myself and I'll be happy to help. And we mentioned Speakers for Schools earlier on. If you ask your school if they're signed up for it and they haven't heard of it yet, or they don't know what you're on about, again, just pass them my email address and I'm happy to help them sign up with that organisation. Okay, and one of our last ones was about the UCAS process. I can imagine you're all really anxious about grades at the moment, no matter what year group you're in. So we had quite a few questions about what happens if the grades you need aren't what you achieve. And there are a few options. First thing is that Shaping Futures can support you. You can get in touch with us on results day and we're happy to help, whether that's this year, next year, year after, whenever. If you don't make the grades for your firm or insurance offer, you go into UCAS clearing, where you can try and find an extra place. So literally hundreds of thousands of students find their place through UCAS clearing. It's something probably a good proportion of your year group will end up involved with one way or the other. And again, UCAS is a great website for the whole university process. There's a really good video and guides on there. But if you do want to talk about specifically that you are maybe hoping to do a degree, but you're not sure on your grades and you want to know how that all plays out, again, we're happy to give some more specific advice. There is also lots of foundation years. So if, for example, a typical offer for a course was ABB, and students maybe were achieving BCC or something like that, there are lots of foundation years, which is a year you do before you start your course, just to get you up to the standard you need to be. You are in university, you are a student for that foundation year, but it's just to kind of get you onto it. So you can look at that if you are thinking when you're researching courses and options that these grades aren't really what I'm going to achieve. Please don't feel discouraged, because there are absolutely shed loads of routes and ways in, as we've kind of talked about. Not to mention access courses. These are usually offered at RFE colleges, and they provide kind of another route into getting you ready for that degree. They're all very different. They'll all fit different people's circumstances in different ways. So again, please just get in touch. I know I'm saying that over and over again. The reason I'm saying it is because we really don't want anyone to go away from this and think, how does that apply to me? How does that work? We are really, really happy to help with that one. Just going to check. Oh, good positive messages in chat. I thought it was a question. So I think we've kind of covered this one in terms of the distressing situation. And I mean, I've had loads of pros about working in the NHS, and I kind of want to work in the NHS now. So I will just pop forward onto the aftercare support. We know we've only got 2 minutes left before we promised you could go. But there is a follow-up webinar series. You've had the links to these, but I will send them again after this session. Please sign up for them, even if you think I might be a little bit interested in that, or I'm not sure whether I'd be interested in that, but it's something I've heard about. Again, they run in this slot 4:30 till 5:30, and there's one a month, April through to July. We will carry on sending out relevant opportunities as they come up. As university outreach teams are starting to put their summer programme together, we'll get all that information out for you where it's anything that might help. We do again offer that one-to-one support. I know some of you are in year 12 and some of you are in year 13, so wherever you're at, we can kind of tailor what we're doing. If you're in year 12, the main thing now is to just research, take advantage of all those online opportunities, open days. University websites have got more content on to help you than they have ever had before, so give it a look. And if you're not sure, some university websites are easier to navigate than others. If you're not sure about what you can find, just drop me an email and I'm happy to help you navigate that. We will send out the document that summarises kind of what you've done, how it's useful, and then when you're filling in personal statements, either for UCAS, for a job, or for an apprenticeship, you've got that to look back on as well. So that will go out to you. And last but not at all least, Over to the side here, we've got the post-event workbook that you received after the event on the 3rd of March. I'm just going to skip forward so that you can see that in a little bit more detail. And basically this page of the workbook and the other pages are designed to help you get into that reflective practice that you'll need as a healthcare professional. So please do fill it out. Just take 5 minutes. If you are pretty set on your path and you know what you're going to do, it will come in handy again when you're doing those applications. If you are not too sure and you're thinking between 2, 3, 4, however many careers, it might help you narrow it down a little bit. But you don't need to submit this to us. It's not homework. It's literally just to help you out as much as we possibly can. So please do take advantage of that. And if you think you want to expand on it a little bit more, again, just let us know. That was everything from me, unless there was anything anyone else wanted to add it, or I will check in the chat box for questions. Yeah, definitely don't be frightened of contacting people and asking what's available, as Lisa said there, or if you don't know how to contact people, and we can pass on details that might be useful for you as well.
Yeah, just to reiterate that, Sarah, in terms of obviously a number of the professionals that have jumped on here, and also those that unfortunately couldn't make tonight. But if there's particular, like the speech and therapy and so forth, if there is a core question, by all means, coming through you, Sarah, and then we'll get the question too, and we'll get the answer back as soon as possible.
We do have a few different healthcare professional students, so current undergraduates, who are on the live chat function of our website as well. If you have any questions that are more specifically about the student experience or how all of that works. Yeah, I think that was it. We will send all the links that have been in the chat. They will all go out for everyone. So you'll get those just in a little Word document. If you haven't been able to open them all up now and take a look through them, you can do that kind of at your own pace and everything like that. That's it from me. Did anyone else have anything they wanted to add?
No, just to say, as I say, if you've got friends that are interested in health and social care, the rest of the webinars are open to everybody in terms of that aspect, and you have to register in the same way. So if obviously in schools and colleges across the Liverpool City region, please register for the upcoming webinars so that we can make them as successful as possible, but also give you that support mechanism in whatever health and social care career pathway you're looking to move into. So thank you very much from me, and thanks very much again for my fantastic speakers. As I say, I'm a jack of all trades and master of none, and it's just fantastic to have Paula, Lisa, Chris, and everyone else, and the amount of support and collaboration. So thank you very much, and most of all, thank you students for attending this 1 hour session.
Yeah, brilliant. If anyone had to leave school early and needs to have their attendance at this confirmed to get a mark, just drop me an email and I can contact your teacher for you. Those certificates for the 3rd of March event are going to go out in the next couple of weeks. They're just with my graphic design person now. Okay, thank you very much, guys, and do feel free to head off now, and thank you so much for coming.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank